So 24 years ago, the greatest draft pick in Indiana Fever history was made. Will it be the greatest draft pick in Indiana history indefinitely? Probably not. Probably not. Because they drafted, numero 22. Again, Iver Fijado. I don't know why I keep saying the word numero. I don't speak any Spanish. We'll go Iver Fijado. I'll speak some Irish. But they drafted 22. And 22 could end up leading to greater stuff with Indiana. Marketing-wise, obviously, it's a big thing. But on the court, nobody up to this point has even been remotely close to Tamika Catchings. And this is a video that I plan on doing a couple of times, maybe a week, a couple of times, maybe a month, where it's just talking about some historical context. For example, when let's say Cynthia Cooper is at like a Caitlin Clark game and there's like pictures being taken, or if there's all these players at these games, doing some like talking about who these players were, I think is good for some people to actually learn about the sport. So the Indiana Fever did tweet out this. 24 years ago today, we drafted Tamika Catchings, the third overall pick in the 2001 WNBA draft. And a lot of people are probably like, why was Tamika Catchings falling to number 3? She fell to 3 because she was going to miss her entire rookie year. She was good enough that she was literally taken third in a draft with a knee that like was going to be screw her for a year. Did not play at all in her true rookie season, but at the same time, she was never going number 1 because that 2001 WNBA draft had Tamika Catchings in it, who I genuinely think is probably a top 5 player of all time, but also had a top 5 player of all time in the greatest non-American player ever, and arguably the greatest player ever in Lauren Jackson. Like Lauren Jackson, the fact she is 43 years old, competed at this Olympics, but a 3-time WNBA MVP, 2-time champion, a finals MVP, and then her knee just stopped working pretty much at 29, and then still played another 14, 15 years of pro basketball with like bad knees when she was out of the league. Like for the 10 years, she had the best 10 years, her or Maya Moore. I don't know who had the better stretch, but 8 all WNBA teams, youngest MVP of all time. So fair enough, her not getting number 1 in that draft with Lauren Jackson in it. But Tamika Catchings was the Indiana Fever. She was that franchise. Obviously, her dad is Harvey Catchings, who most people probably don't know existed as a basketball player. The only reason I know that is because Harvey Catchings used to have a 99 block. He used to be like a 75 overall card with a 99 block, and back in the day in 2K, he used to just block everything. So obviously that was a thing. But Tamika Catchings' career, like her career highlights, is crazy. She made 10 All-Stars in, what did she play? She played till 2016. She's played 15 years, made 10 All-Star teams. She was an MVP, a Finals MVP, and a champion with an Indiana Fever team. And the fact that Fever team beat the Minnesota Lynx. I think, was the Lynx in the finals? Yeah, so they beat the Minnesota Lynx in the WNBA finals in 4 games. And they did that. Like, they beat a Lynx team with Simone Augustus, Maya Moore, Lindsay Whalen. All of these players. Was more, Rebecca Bronson. This was one of the greatest teams of all time, this Minnesota Lynx team. And the Indiana Fever beat them with a roster of, again, not a roster wasn't expected to really do anything crazy. Breanna January, who's now on their coaching staff, Stephanie White as an assistant coach, and Lynn Dunn as their head coach. Lynn Dunn, I don't know how she was such a bad GM, but she was a hell of a head coach. Not only that, again, 7-time All-W first team, 5-time second team. She made 12 All-WNBA teams in 15 years. 5 defensive player of the years, 10 All-Defensive first teams. So she made 12 All-Defensive teams, 12 All-NBA, All-WNBA teams, and was the 8-time WNBA steals leader as well. But if you just look at what she did for the Indiana Fever, like she's like, the funny thing is with Caitlin Clark, for almost every team, outside of Candace Parker And realistically, Tamika Catchings. Maya Moore, maybe because she just won a ring as a rookie, but I think just as an individual season, the best rookie seasons of all time were Candace Parker, Caitlin Clark, and Tamika Catchings. And the fact that Tamika Catchings and Caitlin Clark were on the same team means that Caitlin Clark may not have even had the best like rookie season for a Fever player of all time, which is always a mad one to think about. But if you're looking at her stats, as a rookie, Tamika Catchings averaged 18.6, 8 boards, and 4 assists per game, with 3 steals and 1.3 blocks per game. Like, genuinely, 4.2 stocks per game as a rookie with these numbers are crazy. And in their sophomore year, 19.7 points per game, down to only 3.1 stocks per game, but shooting 41% of the field, 40% from 3. And she's just one of the greatest to ever do it. And it's funny because, again, an awful lot of new Indiana Fever fans don't really know that much about Tamika Catchings. And look, I'm not going to be acting like I watched a whole bunch of the Indiana Fever. 2012 was actually the year before I really kind of watched quite a bit of the WNBA. I watched the 2013. I'll always say this. I watched a whole bunch of the 2013 season, mainly just due to that top 3 rookies, because I watched a good bit of college that year. So when Skylar Diggins came in with Della Dawn, with Brittany Griner, watched quite a lot of those rookies, and obviously watched a bit of the playoffs. And then after that, I would just like keep an eye on what was going on. Like, I would watch the occasional Chicago Sky game to watch Della Dawn play. I'd watch the finals the odd time. So it was a little bit, or as a year late from watching this Indiana Fever team go on a huge run. But Tamika Catchings was one of those players that everyone, like anyone who was a basketball head knew. Like, as anyone who followed the sport as closely as I followed basketball knew who Tamika Catchings were. A lot of the time, she wasn't quite down to Taurasi in terms of how well she was known worldwide. She wasn't quite like Lisa Leslie or Sue Bird or Swoops, but she was an extremely well-known player. And it's funny because she's not being loud about the disrespect, so you don't hear her name get mentioned. Get mentioned with the like, oh, we need to respect the old players. Tamika Catchings' name very rarely gets mentioned, and she's in the GOAT conversation. So, yeah, that's just pretty much it. I do encourage anyone who is interested in ball, who is a de facto Fever fan, is one of the new Fever fans, to go and watch some Tamika Catchings highlights, to watch some of the Fever things, because it's always good to learn about the history of a sport. And maybe, obviously, like, it just depends. If you don't want to do that, that's fine. But obviously, look, that's just my opinion. It's just kind of the way I look at basketball. It's like I enjoy looking at basketball and I enjoy watching back on things. And I kind of wish 16-year-old me, because it was on during the summer holidays when I was off school, I do wish 16-year-old me, instead of being so focused on watching rookies stink it up in NBA Summer League, instead of watching Josh Selby. Was Josh Selby? Was he the guy in 2012 Summer League that absolutely cooked and then ended up doing nothing in the NBA? Instead of watching Josh Selby, probably in hindsight would have been better had I watched this Indiana Fever team. And yeah, it is one of those things that she's just been I'm not gonna say disrespected, because it hasn't been Lauren Jackson, where what Lauren Jackson did has been just erased. For the new WNBA people to respect the game, respect who it was built off, they erased what Lauren Jackson did in terms of the history of women's basketball. The only person in the media you'll ever hear mention Lauren Jackson is Shannon Sharp, because she was Shannon Sharp's favorite player. And yeah, so that is pretty much it. Obviously, look, not going in too in depth. Like, you could make longer videos about Tamika Catchings, but I just saw a post from the Indiana Fever saying 24 years ago they took her third. Obviously missing her rookie year, one of the 5 greatest rookie seasons of all time. Then in her true rookie year, redshirt rookie year basically. And yeah, that is it. That is the video. And obviously, look, if you guys are like not interested in these type of videos and just here for the Caitlin Clark stuff, that's fine. But with the amount of videos I upload a day, I do think that it would be nice to put out some like historical context video or historical videos and just chatting about it, because some of the things, like obviously I would have known about Tamika Catchings, but when looking back on these players, there's things I'm learning all the time. There's things I'm learning about the sport, and this is a channel where I talk about basketball, which I really like to do. So anyway, hopefully you guys enjoyed. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.